Hey everyone, I'm Mark from Way Cool News, and this is the toy review of McFarlane's Walking Dead Zombie Walker figure. On the front of the packaging for this Zombie Walker figure, it advertises the wind-up walking action feature. Explicitly detailed in blood and gore, this figure stands at 5 inches tall. Shown on the back of the packaging from the Walking Dead AMC TV series are other figures, including Rick Grimes, a zombie biter, Daryl Dixon, and of course, our Zombie Walker. The Zombie Walker figure is the only figure in the series without an accessory. It was instead replaced by that wind-up walking action feature. Alright, so let's take a look at this Zombie Walker figure from the Walking Dead TV series. Now you might be familiar with this zombie, you might have seen him in Season 1 where he was on the bus and Rick rides into the city and he's sitting there and he kind of catches sight of Rick and he's like, yeah. So taking a look at him, his paint apps actually aren't too bad. As you can see here, he's got some pretty realistic blood. It's got this glossy quality, he's got a tattered tie. He's got that dress shirt. He's got broad stripes on it for some reason. Black and white. I don't know. He's a part-time ref. He's like, ladies, I can do it all. But on his hands, he's got, the blood. It really gives, the look that he's just got done chowing down on somebody. So also on his face, it's pretty good quality. I mean, he's got the blood splatter going on his face as well. He's got the teeth, the gritting teeth. He's got those bloodshot eyes. Almost looks like, I've been to a rave, ladies! I like that bullet wound in his head. That looks good. I kind of wonder what area of work this guy does. I mean, he's got a suit on, he's got long hair. This guy does it all. He's a referee, too. So, let's also look at the suit quality here. It's got a wrinkly quality to it. You gotta imagine that if he's been walking days on the streets, it's gonna get messed up. He's like, where's my dry cleaner? But it also has this wash to it. It looks like it's a dark blue, right? And then there's this dark gray that really finds its way into the crevices. I think it does it pretty good work. Helps really capture all the little nooks and crannies of the figure. In terms of articulation, let's get into the head. The head here, it's got a ball joint. I think you can see it right there. It's underneath the neck because the head and the neck is all one sculpted piece. The ball joint sits under there, but in terms of like articulation, it doesn't really do... Oh, look at that. Popped it off. Send it too far. There we go. It's back on. So, in terms of articulation in the shoulders and stuff, it's pretty weird. I mean, look at this. It sticks out, like, oddly enough, that it protrudes so far. It makes it almost look disconnected from the body. I don't know if... There's no better way to get around that, really. Also, there's a joint here at the elbow. They're pretty loose. I mean, they're not too bad. They're good enough that you can move them around and they're not going to slide around on you. Same way with this one. And that one's a little tighter. It's not too bad though. I mean, with these figures, you're not going to be putting them in a whole lot of poses. Because there's not much you can do with it without making it look, odd, or popping the head off. But also here, they got this cut in the torso area here, the crotch. I mean, in this thing, I think it protrudes a little, but it's made for the walk-up winding action, so there's not much you can do about it in terms of that. It's not really cut for articulation, for posability or anything like that, because there's not much you can really do with it because of that wind-up action. And speaking of which, on the back here, this wind-up thing I feel like protrudes really far I mean, you got the cut. I think that's also there, so you can really actually do the wind-up action, but made out of a harder plastic here, then there's not really much give to that. So with the winding action, the wind-up action, you have to take a look at these feet. They got these sort of translucent stands so he can actually balance, because otherwise he's got these double jointed broken ankle look, which, you know, stereotypical zombie. You got to get into that. So I mean, with that you say, well, what's the wind-up action look like? And it's really not that great. From what I've got out of it, it just kind of, it teeters back and forth, almost does like a sort of like a pee-pee dance. It's got to go bathroom or something, or maybe it wants a slow dance. I don't know what it is. But if you want to take a look at it, here we go. Let's see if we can get it to go. I've done it a few times. It fell over sometimes, but I mean, what is that? It's kind of like a left to right, like gazing across the room, like, hey lady, you see me over here? Yeah, I'm a wallflower, but if you want to talk, baby, we can go. And look at that. Doesn't really look like he's ready to attack. It looks more like he's feeling the rhythm, you know? He's like, this is my jam. This is my jam right here, ladies. So, I mean, like I said, he's just... The wind-up walking action, I mean, does not really help out this figure. I personally feel like, as horrible as this wind-up action is, that you should have just removed it and made the bottom of him articulated. Give him a little bit more playability, at least that way you can pose him, make him look like he's going to attack Rick or something like that, give him a step forward, something like that. But this just looks like he's going to give him a hug or something. I mean, I'm not even afraid of this. Look at that. What's up, people? I mean, this is terrible in terms of posability. I mean, the paint apps overall, I think, make up for it. But like I said, articulation isn't all there below the waist, and this wind-up action really doesn't help it out in any way as far as, you know, quality-wise. You can find these at a price point at like $11 and some change. I found this one at Walmart for that much, and then I've also seen them at Toys R Us for $14.99 or so. So, I mean, with that kind of price tag, you want a little bit better. These are by McFarlane Toys, and they've always done pretty decent work. I mean, sure, it's not the best, but if you're a die-hard fan for this show, you're probably going to get it. You know, they might be little nice display ones for your shelf. Yeah. But in terms of that wind-up, no, it's not really going to do it. And unless they make a 5-inch Michael Jackson Thriller figure to accompany, you know, figures like these, it's just not going to work out, because right now, he just looks like a Thriller backup dancer, and it's like, it's close to midnight. Yeah. Not too bad. Overall, the best attribute about this figure is the blood paint application. The deep red color and glossy finish really sells the goriness. The face sculpt boasts a very decent likeness of the zombie seen on TV. The blood on his face really seems to convey the idea that he's just come from a human buffet. There appears to be a bullet wound on his forehead, but if that's the case, we're not sure how he's still going. There also seems to be some veins protruding around his eyes, which makes a nice addition to detail. Loose necktie, full suit, long hair. We don't know what this zombie's former occupation was, but we love the disheveled and tattered suit he now dons as a walker. While in theory, the walking feature sounds like a cool add-on, but the wind-up mechanism protrudes awkwardly and takes away from the overall look. And while the advertised walking feature sounded very cool and appealing, it doesn't really seem to live up to expectations. There's not much walking going on, it's more like a left to right shuffle. In terms of preference, I would have rather opted for better posability and more articulation from his legs over what this feature realistically offered. And with some trickery from our camera, we got it to look like we wanted it to.
What are you looking at?